Okay, so today we're going to talk about how we're losing sales by ignoring the buyer stages. Essentially, it's the continuation of the objection prevention series, or as I like to call it, rejection prevention. So, what can we do during the sales process to prevent hearing no, to put ourselves in the best possible position to get the yes? Yes, I'm interested. Yes, I want to buy. So it starts by understanding the buyer stages. So we have typically in a sales process or in a market, we have four buyer stages. It starts with the status quo buyer. Who's a status quo buyer? A status quo buyer, is a consumer that's satisfied with his current approach, regardless what we're selling, software, bathrobes, coaching, agency services. No matter what we're selling, we're gonna find a lot of times buyers who are walking in, who are booking calls, and they are satisfied with their current approach, with their current solution. So they're curious, they're booking a call, they're booking a meeting with us, but the question in their mind that we have to answer is why change? Like, why do I need to change if I already have something in place? And we're gonna see what questions can we ask to move them down the buyer stages to pull them towards a sale. Stage number 2 buyer is the passive buyer. It's someone that is problem aware, they have a problem, they have started to realize that their current solution won't do it, it won't get them to where they want to go, but they're not in a rush necessarily to make a change. So they don't have any intense present pain, but instead they want to find a fix. It's just and not right now, maybe. So the question that they're asking themselves is, why you? Like, why should I trust you as the solution? Because that buyer isn't in a rush to buy. So that's the question we need to answer essentially. Why us? Why should we help them? And of course, as we're talking about during our sales process, the way that we sell with the stealth conversion methodology, we have to ask the right questions to get them to realize that themselves. Buyer number 3 is the active buyer. That buyer has more urgency behind their what they're going after. They are solution aware. They're looking at different solutions. They're very aware of the problem. They know what they're missing out on. So they're looking at different solutions already. So the question that they're asking themselves is, will this help me? That's the question. So when they're looking at different solutions, they're looking, what's the best fit for me? So when they're walking into any sales conversation, the question that they're asking themselves is, will this work for me? That's what I have to get them to realize. And stage buyer number 4 is the more offer aware. So it's someone who knows us, they know what they offer, they've come to us, maybe they've had a call with us, but they gave us an objection of, let me think about it, or I won't start right now. The question that we need to answer for these guys is, why now? So this is a buyer who has been through the status quo, the passive buyer, the active buyer stages. It's a now buyer. They know they need to take action. It's just about getting them to act now, not in 7 days, not in 7 weeks, not in 7 months. So let's dive right into it. Like, what questions do we ask during the buying process to get them to realize that? And this is the biggest mistake that I see people make. We talk a lot about sales resistance and, doing everything we can to avoid resistance, but we take it to another extreme. We avoid any sort of tension during the call. And that's a big mistake, because constructive tension is needed. Like, some healthy tension during the call is needed for them to take action. Think about it. Like, can you create any sort of change without adding tension and friction? You cannot make a change. If everything is rosy, if we are agreeing on everything, we cannot create change. That person that's on the call with us, through their life, through their current process, have made some mistakes, have some gaps. But still, they haven't taken action up to that point to solve those gaps, to solve those problems. So if I don't create a healthy level of tension with my questions, they will still stay exactly where they are. They won't make a change. You cannot replicate it in a script. That's the thing. And that's mistake number 2 that I see a lot of people make. We put together the script with them, but during the conversation, they don't really get the answers to their questions. They're walking their way down the script. They're asking the right things, but they don't get the true answers to their questions. They're not creating friction in the process. So if you see during the conversation, if you see them, their body language, if you hear their answers, if you smell essentially, for lack of a better term, BS, like lies or doubtful answers, don't accept it. Put the truth on the table. Because subconsciously, and this is important, subconsciously, when the prospect says something that even they don't 100% believe, and we accept it, we don't say something, it's like we're allowing it to happen. And the message that we're communicating to the prospect is, it's okay for you to lie to me. This is very important. I'm going to say it again. When the prospect unpacks their situation and they say something conflicting, let me give you an example. They say, business is going fine, business is going great. And on the next sentence, they tell me something like, oh yeah, like some months we have high revenue, some months, the revenue is lower. What did they just tell us? These sentences together don't make sense. So if I accept that and say, okay, yeah, and you move on to the next question, you're done. Because what you're telling the prospect is, it's okay for you to lie. So when you allow that to happen, then during objection handling, if they lie to you, oh yeah, I just want to find the money for this, they're going to disappear. Because again, you allowed them during the conversation to lie. It's not a deep conversation. You're going to stay surface level when you're accepting surface level answers for them. So you have to put the truth on the table. That's where we're creating objections, where you hear a problematic state and you don't attack it then and there. You're allowing it to happen. You're subconsciously telling yourself, oh, that's okay, I will handle it later. And the message that the prospect hears is, okay, so this person is another person that doesn't really listen to me, and it's okay for me to lie to him. So it's super important to hold on, probe, clarify, attack that incongruency between what they're in what they're saying. So if they tell you business is going amazing, there are no problems, and once you ask the question, okay, and what's current revenue? 20,000 a month. Okay, what was revenue last month? 30,000 a month. Oh, okay. And you don't have that conversation. Whoa. So last month you made 30,000. This month you made 20,000. What happened there? It doesn't sound like things are consistent. If you don't help them recognize that gap, we're toast. So once you have that conversation, you have to put those stops with your script. One question you can ask, and this is a question that we're using, but again, we have to weaponize that question. So an example question is, have you been out there looking for ways to fix your problem? Or what have you been doing? So if the prospect tells you no, and you just revealed 5 minutes later that they have a painful problem, every month that goes by, they're losing 10,000 a month. If they tell you no, when you ask them, have you been out there looking for ways to fix that problem, or what have you been doing? And they tell you no, you have to have a conversation then and there. You have to get them to own their bullshit. If they have been lazy, and pardon my French, if they have been lazy, call them out on it. If they told you, if they tell you, I haven't found the perfect solution, okay, how long have you been in this looking around mode? For 3 months. Okay, so you're telling me you're missing out on 5,000 in revenue every single month. So for 3 months, you're okay with losing out on 15,000 in revenue looking for the perfect solution? Can you see, when I ask that question and I get them to realize that every month that they're pushing their decision, they're missing out on 5,000, can you see that it's very hard for them to give me a think about it objection at the end? This is how we prevent objections, by having a real conversation. Like if a friend came to you and she told you, dude, my girlfriend is driving me crazy, or you have a female friend and my boyfriend is driving me crazy, we're constantly fighting, and you ask them, okay, well, what have you been doing? Like, have you had a conversation with them? And they tell you, oh, no, I don't, because I love them. Out of your, if you're kind, if you really value that person, you're going to have a conversation with them, right? You're going to be, oh, okay, that situation is perfectly healthy. Continue with the relationship. You're going to have a conversation, right? Well, it's exactly the same story with your sales conversations. Like, you need to bring those issues to the surface, put the truth on the table, so you can prevent objections from happening on the back end. Now, let's look at, we talked about the status quo buyer, the why change. Let's look at the passive buyer and the buyer that's asking themselves, will this work for me? Now, how we prevent that objection? Because if you get that objection towards the end of the conversation, it's very hard to come back from that, because you haven't done a good job during the sales conversation. There are ways to handle it, but your job is much, much harder versus doing a few smart things during the conversation. So how do we do it? The easiest way to prevent the will this work for me objection is to get them to consume case studies beforehand. So someone books a call with you, do some research beforehand, and this can be 1-2 days before your meeting. Do some research, see what they're about, and send them a relevant case study. Send it in their emails, in their DMs, even call them. Hi, Chris. I saw that we have a call in 2 days from now. I sent you a relevant case study. It looks like you're this type of person. We've also helped Michael, who's exactly just like you. Check it out before our call. Now, if they go through the case study, that answer is immediately answered in their mind, even before you have the conversation. This is the first way of doing it. Another way of doing it is you plant proof phrases along the conversation. So when you ask, for example, a present reality question, for example, you ask, okay, so what are you currently doing to grow the business? If they're looking to grow the business. So what are you currently doing to grow the business? Oh yeah, we're running Facebook ads, we're running email marketing, and we're doing this and that. Okay, and what do you sell exactly? Oh, we're selling coaching programs. A proof phrase that I can plant then and there is, oh yeah, we have a lot of coaches coming to us for that. Now I should ask, I don't say we can definitely help you. I'm not going to say, oh yeah, we've had 500 people come to us. I'm being very cool, calm, and collected, and I'm just seeding it in. I'm saying, oh yeah, a lot of coaches come to us for that. That's not a problem. And you move on. I'm planting that seed in their mind that I already have a lot of people coming to me for that, and I'm moving on. Another way of saying that is when they unpack a problem and they say, oh yeah, we're at 20,000 in revenue, but now we're struggling to get to 30. A seed phrase that I can drop there is, yeah, that's very common for your stage in business. What does that tell them? It's telling them that this is something that I've seen over and over and over. A third way of doing it, to answer the will this work for me objection, is to understand and describe their pain better than them. And this is where we've discussed about it in the past. This is where labels come in. So when I understand and I'm able to describe their pain better than them, I instantly become an authority in their mind. I've told this story before, or this analogy. Homeless person in the street. Let's say my back is in pain, my knee is in pain, and I'm limping. My knee is hurting, I'm limping. Homeless guy sees me and he's like, hey, I see that you're limping. Did you lift weights and injure your back? It sounds like your sciatica might be screwed up. I'm gonna be like, whoa, who is this guy, right? I'm not gonna care if this guy smells. I'm not gonna care if this guy is in the middle of the street begging for money. He knows my problem. He understands my problem better than me. So he's instantly an authority. Works exactly the same way in your sales conversations. So if someone tells me, yeah, 1 month I'm making 30,000 a month, the second month I'm making 20, the next month I'm making 30, then back to 20. Yeah, that's very common. It sounds like you're in a revenue roller coaster. Exactly right. Now I know exactly, that person knows exactly what I'm talking about. Like the problem that the label that I just put on him instantly resonated with him. So that's the third way. Let's go through them again. The easiest way to get them to answer the question in their mind, will this work for me, is to get them to consume case studies before your call. The second way is seeding proof phrases along the conversation. The third way is understanding and describing their pain better than them. And the fourth way is, after you do your discovery with, after asking all your powerful questions and you're ready to present, you're going to inject a transition phrase. So right before you start presenting your solution, you're going to say something like this. You can present a mini case study story. This will be a couple of sentences that unpacks a client story that you've had in the past. You're not making a big deal of it or about it, but you're just telling a quick story to show them that, hey, I've done this before. You're in good hands. So it can go something like this. You're asking the right questions, you're having them unpack their situation in their mind, and you can say, well, based on what you told me, what we're doing here will work for you. Because you know how you said you've had this problem and it's causing this consequence, and because of that, it's making you feel a little bit stressed sometimes. Well, this actually reminds me of Mary, who had challenges with the same things and got this result. So I'm really confident that we can help you. We can replicate the process just like we did with Mary. Anyways, the way we helped Mary is, and you move right into your presentation. But what have I done? In 10 seconds there, I'm subconsciously telling them, and I'm providing proof. I'm telling them, hey, been there, done that, I got you. You're in good hands. But it's not just I'm telling them, hey, bro, I got you. It's not just a claim. I'm proving to them with a story. We've talked in the past. Stories that inject proof are great communication tools, go under the sales resistance radar, but also they're very hypnotic. So we enter their wavelength. Let's move forward. We've talked about the timing last time. So we're just going to talk about the time. So if you keep hearing in your sales presentations at the end, this sounds perfect, but I don't know if I have the time to do something like this. If you consistently hear that, you have to ask the right question during the presentation to prevent that from happening. So during your discovery phase, you're going to ask, well, as you might realize, Chris, this does take some time to implement. So you can get the results that our clients get. So how much time do you think you can set aside to commit to something like this so you can get results just like our clients? So instead of begging and pleading and cajoling them about, hey, please, you need to put in so many hours to get this result, or can you do it? I'm asking them, as you might realize, you need to work, you need to put in specific hours for this. So are you willing to commit? And once I hear, yes, I'm willing to commit, I can say, yeah, our clients, just so you're aware, our clients typically put in 3 to 5 hours a week to use our playbooks so they can get this result. Is that something that you can swing? The moment I hear yes, I get a verbal agreement. We agree that time is not going to be an issue. So I already pre-handled that objection. They cannot tell me I don't have time in the end because we already agreed on it. Let's look at the final one and then we'll move into questions. When I keep hearing this all sounds perfect, I just want to talk to my partner about this, or to my wife, or to my dad, or they're trying to, abdicate responsibility to third party. So there's a real or an imaginary person that they have to consult before they make a decision. So if that keeps happening in your sales process, what can you ask to prevent that? You're going to ask, what's the typical decision-making process that you guys follow when it comes to solving X and Y and Z problems? I'm not going to ask who else is responsible. I'm not going to ask who makes the decisions in your house. I'm going to ask, what's the typical decision-making process you guys follow when it comes to solving these problems? And for example, in a B2B, if you're selling to businesses, you may hear, oh yeah, I will need the director of marketing. I need to ask him if we have the budget for this, blah, blah, blah. Now I'm going to bring that person in and I'm going to ask, okay, so how does your director of marketing feel about you wanting to generate more leads to solve this problem? Then, once I have that conversation earlier on, I will add that person as I'm building heaven, as I'm pulling all the benefits that they're going to have from my service. So when I ask them, okay, so let's say we were able to come in and help you generate more leads, what would that do for you? Now they're going to say, yeah, it's going to help us by bringing on more business. It's going to help this, it's going to help that. Now I'm going to bring the partner in. Okay, so you being able to generate more leads and grow the business, what would that do for your marketing director though? What am I doing now? I'm already pre-handling and building the vision and how it's going to benefit that third party. So now, even if in the worst case scenario, I get an objection and they have to still go talk to the marketing director, that person I've already, for lack of a better term, coached them, maybe brainwashed them about going to the marketing director and telling them, hey, this is going to help you do this, do that, do that. Because I asked the right question and got them to say that themselves. So just to summarize, we have to always respect the buyer stages. And if we get a specific objection that keeps coming up, it's a crime not to ask that question during the process so I can prevent that objection from happening again. Let's open the floor for questions. What questions do you have? Concerns, doubtful points? It doesn't only have to be about what we discussed today. Richard.
Yes, how would you know what buyer stage these people are in? Is there a question to ask, or
Yeah,
are they in the status quo,
absolutely.
passive? I mean, I probably have a lot of passive.
Yeah. So because you're a VIP client, we've set up the script together. So the way that the script is engineered, they will reveal themselves what stage they're in, right? Because when we ask them, how satisfied are you with, taking medicine to fix your
Right.
pain,
Right. How sad?
right away they're going to say, well, I'm in pain. So we know already that they're not at the status quo stage. They want to make a change, right?
Okay.
Now, when I ask them, okay, what do you feel you've missed out on so far by staying in pain for 2 months? Oh, my family, I can't go on walks with my daughter. I can't do that. I can't do that. So I know that they're problem aware. That has already surfaced as well. Now, when I ask them also, before you came to me, were you out there going to other chiropractors so you can fix this? Or what have you been doing? Now, if they tell me, no, I've just been popping pills, well, are you okay with you just popping pills, or do you want to actually fix it? No, I want to fix it. So the way we have engineered the script, it's already moving them down the buyer stages.
Right. So I guess it's very important to listen to these answers and understand what they're saying.
Yeah, I have to honor my questions.
Their answers are very important.
Exactly. It's what's in their world. I have to honor the questions that I have in front of me. I have to honor them. Like, I can't ask them, you can't ask them, they tell you, I've been in pain for 5 months. What have you been doing? Nothing. Whoa, dude, you're killing me here. Like, are you okay with being in pain?
I just got that the other day. She goes, I'm not doing anything.
Whoa, do we have a sadist here? What, do you like being in pain? Give me a break. What's happening?
Just stay on that a little bit.
Yeah. Because if she's like, oh, I've been in pain for 5 months, but yeah, I take a pill here and there. But if you don't ask them that, and you ask for the sale at the end, they may be okay with staying with pain another 5 months. Are you with me?
Okay, so that's the next question. Like, just say that again. Like, say if they say, what solutions have you tried?
Yep.
Before today,
Yep.
what solution has you tried? Nothing. So what do you say again when they
Yeah,
say?
you don't need some magic words, right? Oh, what happened there? It sounds like you've been in pain for 5 months. How come you haven't looked for solutions? Oh, I've been popping pills. Okay. May I ask, have you considered the damage that you're doing to your kidneys just by taking painkillers? And have you also considered that you're already you're only removing your pain, but you're not fixing the real issue? And I hope I'm not making you angry by asking that.
Okay.
What are they going to say then?
Yeah, they're gonna say, well, yeah, they're gonna say, well, it's definitely sounds like there's a problem here or something. I said, well, it's going on for 5 months.
Yeah, and they can say also, they can say, oh, I didn't know, I've been putting a strain on my kidneys, right? I didn't realize it, that they do so much damage. That's where I can educate them. That's where I can understand their pain better than them.
Now, what if they say, sometimes they say, well, I just deal with it.
Yeah. Well, are you okay with dealing with it? Because can I make a suggestion? Sure. When we don't treat, your neck pain, like sooner than later, it will start radiating down to your elbow. It's something that we call, tennis elbow. So
Right. Yeah.
if your elbow starts hurting, how do you think it's going to impact you?
Right. And if it gets worse, then you do the consequences.
Yeah. Yeah, but what happens if you don't make a change? You keep popping pills. Like, what's going to happen to your health then?
Yeah, if I keep minimizing it, I think you just got to keep hitting them a little bit, because sometimes you could say, you could tell they're just minimizing it and they're not, well, it's okay. They minimized it. It's okay. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, if it's not that big of a deal, may I ask what had you seek out help in the first place? Because yeah, you might be okay with staying in pain like forever.
Yeah. You just go right back to almost like, okay, so what attracted your attention to us then if you don't think it's a problem?
Yeah,
You have to go right back, right?
exactly. Yeah, I have
Just
to
don't
get
blow it off. Just
yeah.
don't blow it off.
If they haven't accepted change, I'm not gonna push change in their face, but I'm gonna ask them, well,
Right.
okay, what intrigued you to make a change in the first place? Have you considered the scenario where you keep taking pills and they stop working? But what's going to happen then?
Right. Just don't get off those. Just don't blow that off like you were talking about. You got to
Yeah.
almost go back.
And I have to use a concerned tonality.
Yes.
Like I'm not a bad teacher now, blaming them, or I'm not gonna point fingers. I'm concerned. They're a toddler, they're in pain, and they don't want to go to the doctor. Well, how
Right.
are we gonna fix it? Like, how are you going to go to school if your knee is in pain? Like, I'm concerned, right?
Right. Very concerning, and say, okay, well, I'm concerned. You can even say it. Sometimes I even say to her, I'm
Yeah,
concerned.
I'm concerned, and I'm the only reason I'm asking is I want you to be healthy either way, regardless if we work together.
Mhm.
Anna, thank you for the question. I'm gonna get right into it. But does that make sense, Richard?
Yes.
Cool.
Thank you.
Let's look at Anna. So had a demo, buyer looks interested, we'll discuss with team, but considering an alternative solution. Any tips for follow-up? The main thing is, like, as a principle, we have to ask before we let them go, what are they looking for out of another solution? Like, what's coming up for them specifically that makes them feel that what I'm putting in front of them isn't 100% what they're looking for. So you have to have that conversation there. Step number 2 is you still have to probe and clarify when they're meeting the other solution. So if they're meeting it, if they're meeting in 1 week, a good idea is to book a call with them the next day, so you can put the 2 proposals, your proposal and the other person's proposal, side by side. So you have the opportunity to sell against it. You can use this type of language. You can ask them, okay, that's not a problem. You can look at the other solution. May I make a suggestion? Would it help you if after you talk to them, we meet again? Because when we're looking at different solutions, some questions might come up. Regardless if we work together, I want you to make the right decision. So would it help you if we put something on the calendar so we can put the 2 proposals side by side, and you might be better off going with them? That's not a problem. I just want you to win either way. There, I'm showing them that regardless of what they buy, if they choose me, I want them to win. Like, I'm actively showing them that. Let me know if that helps. And question number 2, you said to describe their pain better than them. What does it look like? A first email with bullet points, an outreach email with an attached PDF or link? No. So when you're doing outreach, if you're reaching out to them, you have to, like, it starts by understanding what you're really solving for them. So what I would do is, I don't know what you're selling, right? But I would do a bullet point list of what exactly am I selling, the futures of it. So I would write futures, and right next to it, I would write problems that I'm solving. Like, what does this thing that, my solution does, what problem is it solving? Now, when I go through that process, I'm gonna have 3 to 5 bullet points of problems. I have to ask myself, these problems, the way that I wrote them down. If my ideal client goes to bed at night, are they thinking about their problems that way? Like, is that the language that they would tell themselves? I need to fix this. I need to do some research. If it is, then I can construct an email that says, I'm reaching out because we see a lot of companies like you struggle with X and Y and Z. So now I give them the opportunity to self-identify. Oh yeah, we have troubles with X. The biggest thing that when that happens, it's during the sales conversation though, where when someone is struggling to communicate the problem clearly, and I give them the right language, that's when I understand their pain better than them. So for example, someone comes to me for sales coaching, right? They may say, oh yeah, the sales cycle is too long. Clients always say no. Clients take too long to buy. Clients keep asking for a discount. And I'm able to tell that person, okay, so it sounds like you're not able to communicate your value clear enough. That's why you're getting all those objections. Now that person is going to be like, oh yeah, you're right. That's it. Because now I was able to explain their problem in a better way than them. Because what they're seeing are the surface level problems, and I diagnosed their situation in the right way. And now they can say, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about. Does that make sense, Anna? If you're still with us. I don't see a reply. Anyone else? Any other questions? Cool. What other questions do we have? Richard.
Yeah, just about the time one. You have that written down, and I think that the time one you just say right after the presentation or the exam, say, our clients simply put in, that's the number 2's one.
The timing or the time?
The time, number 2, time. I could say that. Yeah, our typical patients to get results is, 2 to 3 visits a week. Is that something that you could swing? Do you really want to say, is that something you could swing?
It depends. It depends on, what we're selling. I'm going to give you some different language with what you're selling. So here's how I would do it for your situation. I would say, it looks like, for example, it looks like you have shoulder impingement, and, it constructs your trap, and that's where your neck pain comes from. Now, my patients, it typically takes 5 sessions or 12 sessions for us to really make a difference and make the pain go away. You will see the pain going away. Like, it won't take 12 sessions for the pain to go away. Like, you will see a difference in a couple of sessions. But if we want to fix the true core problem, so you're pain-free consistently and you don't come back to me in another month to fix it, we will need 12 full sessions. So is that something that you're okay with, doing a full treatment, so we make sure the pain doesn't come back?
Yeah. Okay, great.
And this is good for you, because it's not just handling the time objection. It's also handling I just need 2 sessions, right? I just need 1 session. Like, I just need the pain to go away.
Yeah. Yeah. I need help with that too. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just say, hey, I'll probably get you out of feeling better in 2 or 3 visits, but that doesn't mean it's going to go away totally. Typically with this diagnosis, it takes 12 to 15 sessions. Are you okay with that? We want to help you in 2 to 3 visits. We want to get you out of some pain, but that doesn't mean you're done.
And it really helps when you unpack the plan for them then and there. So here, what you can do is, okay, so here's what we're going to do. It looks like you have pain in your sciatica, and this radiates down your knee. That's why your hip is so much much pain. So in the first 2 visits, we're going to unlock your hip So we remove the instant pain. So your pain, your hip is no longer in pain, but that doesn't fix the sciatica issue. That's what we'll fix in sessions 3 to 10. So we can relax this muscle, make sure that it doesn't flare up. And in the last 2 sessions, we're gonna do some, physiotherapy to make sure that your hips are stable,
Right.
they're not unstable, and blah blah blah, whatever. I don't know
Right.
what you're doing exactly.
Right. I understand you.
Yeah.
But just say the whole visit in the beginning. So this is why I need you 15, 20. This is why I need you. Well,
Exactly.
you're going to start feeling better in 2, but I need you because we're going to do this, we're going to do that.
Yeah,
Explain it.
it's how the plan goes. It's a plan that I follow with patients who have this problem. So you're showing them that there's a method to the madness, right? Like they don't just come to you and you massage them. Like you know exactly what you're doing. Hey, Chris, here's when we're gonna fix your hip. Then we're gonna move into your sciatica, and then it's 2 sessions of physio. So you don't come back after 2 months saying, "Hey, you didn't fix this." That's how we solve the root cause of the problem. Are you with me when I'm saying that?
Right. And that's probably after my exam and I
Yep.
could help you. Yep. I got you. Thank you.
Like this can be a part of your presentation. Like as you're presenting before the price, you have that conversation.
Right. Before the price. Yeah.
Before the price. So they can agree, oh yeah, I'm good with that plan. I can do 10.
Before the price. So it's very important before. Yes.
Very important. Yeah.
Thank you.
Because now the price makes sense to them. Oh, I'm getting all this value. I'm gonna solve all these things.
Right. Right. All right. I know exactly where to put that in. Thanks.
Cool. What other queries do we have? Questions, doubtful points? Going once, going twice. Joe, what's up?
Hey, Chris. Got a kind of unrelated question to talked about today. So, in the presentation, I'm selling SaaS, and we just kind of developed a deck, a slide deck that goes through a lot of our features and things like that. So I'm curious, a lot of times I'm doing these live demos where I'm showing the actual platform and things like that. It's nice because people get to see it, the real thing. It's also, it can be distracting sometimes because they see something and they're like, oh, what about that? What about this? Can you show me that? So it can kind of go sideways sometimes. So I'm kind of curious if there's ever a situation where you would maybe just use the slide deck and not show the actual platform, or vice versa. Should I just stay away from the slide deck and figure out how to control that conversation more? Just kind of curious about your thoughts.
Decks and PowerPoints are where dreams go to die.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Because here's the thing, right? Like the deck is our way of condensing information that makes sense to us.
Yep.
Right? Like, oh, my solution does all these things, so let me put it together. But it doesn't necessarily talk to their situation, and it cannot make sense for their situation because the deck lacks all the context that I've pulled together during the conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I may have in my deck community building, but what if they don't care about community building?
Right.
That's wasted real estate. My goal with the presentation is to only present to them whatever I just unpacked for them.
Right.
So during the software demo, like my goal is to find 2-3 pain points and maybe one mic drop moment where it's something that I do much better than anyone else in the marketplace, and it immediately solves one problem for them. So I'm showing them, okay, so you mentioned, how you mentioned that onboarding new users is a little bit tough for you right now and you're missing out on users. This is how we fix it. Boom, 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 boom. Can you see how this might benefit you? Can you see how this might benefiting you? Yeah. Okay. Now, you also mentioned that you're getting a lot of phone calls because users get lost during the referral process, like when they don't know how to invite a friend. You know how you mentioned that you're missing out on donations because of it? Yes. Okay. So we have this feature right here. Let me show you. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. So with this feature, can you see how it will help you, get more donations? Yes.
Mm. So yeah, that's great. And just clarifying, so in the transition from one to the other, I have to click around a bit on a shared screen. So is that, I mean, should I unshare it and get to it, or just try to click to it without getting them distracted?
As I'm transitioning, so I'm gonna tell the story first as I'm transitioning. So I'm wrapping up the first feature. Now, you know how you mentioned that, so I'm planting the problem, I'm reminding them.
Right.
And as they're saying yes, okay, so here's how we solve it. Boom, boom, boom. So I'm gonna go then and there. Right.
Okay. Yeah. That
Now,
makes
if
sense.
they get distracted and they say, oh, what does that do? I'll walk you through it just in a second, just to cover your burning problem right now. Like because you mentioned that's burning right now, and this is missing out on users. Happy to talk about other features. Just wanna be clear on how we solve that, because that will be a game changer for you.
Got it. So you don't ignore it completely. Just stick to the main things that we unpacked.
I'm putting it aside.
And
Yeah,
maybe
happy to cover it. I just want to make sure we hit on the community building aspect, because you said it's important for you. So how we build the community is, and you walk.
Right. Okay.
Because I'm not ignoring it, but if it's a flashy object, oh, that's a cool button, what does it do? And I'm bringing them back to their problems, they may even forget about it. Like I've had it happen dozens and dozens of times.
Yeah.
Because it's not relevant. It's just new information that they found intriguing. But if I keep hammering away at the points that are relevant for them around their problems, like I have them.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
I have to keep it crisp. Once I hit those 4 points, or 3 features, or 4 features, and yeah, any questions that they have after that, I should not get lost in the details, because I'm keeping it crisp.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It's kind of one of those things where we got handed this deck to help us with sales, and it's like, all right, we're trying to figure out where can I use this? Should I use it at all? Is it going to be useful anywhere?
The only place that I would use it is if you deploy any of the strategies that we discussed, where you do maybe a one-to-many presentation and demo, or you want to record a video, a pre-selling video, a VSL, and send it to them before you get them on the call.
Okay.
Like that's the scenario.
Yeah, and it's not like I would have to use the entire deck either.
No.
Just kind of hitting on a couple of.
Yeah, like what you can create based on the VSL structure that we have. Like most people come to us because of X and Y and Z problems. Just so you're aware, here are a few things that we work on. Future. Cost of inaction, 3 minutes, right? Nothing. Just to get to know you, that you're a real person. You don't mess around. You know exactly what you're talking about, and see you at the demo.
Yeah.
You don't show the tool. You don't show solution. You just talk about the problems, cost of inaction, what the typical non-profit company misses out on in terms of donations because they don't have these pieces in place, and that's it.
Okay. And sorry, one last question. I can use that for somebody who's already scheduled a demo. How about, a person that person who I've cold called and is like, I'm not ready to schedule, but can you send me some information about your platform, about your organization?
Yeah, that's not a problem. Just so I know exactly what to send you. What are you currently using? Just so I don't send you something irrelevant.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna do some probing, right? And let's say they don't book, and that's fine. Like not everyone will book, right?
Right.
But what I can do is I can weaponize that deck, but with a video. I don't want to send them the deck naked.
Right.
Because I have zero control over that deck. Like they may open the deck for 3 seconds, go to slide 4 and slide 10 and leave. But with a video, I'm controlling the process. I'm controlling the deck. I'm orchestrating.
Right. Okay.
Does that make sense? Because it's important, because that's why the deck, like I'm sending them a PDF. I don't know what the frick they're doing.
Yeah, and that's what I need, something better in those situations. And
Yeah. Show me the deck on your one-on-one, and we can,
Yeah.
Craft a video accordingly.
Yeah, that sounds good. Because I think that'll be helpful. What I send now when they ask for more information is not good.
Yeah. Shoot it to me over in Slack, and let's brainstorm on our meeting, and let's put together a video and like a sales asset.
Perfect. Sounds great.
Awesome. Good stuff. Well, really enjoyed this one. Keep me updated, everyone. Richard, Joe, VIP clients, ping me on Messenger if you need anything, and here to serve. Have a good one.
Thanks, Chris.
Bye.